Salam alaikum. So in the last video, I had made a quote by George Santayana, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, that if we do not learn from our history, we are doomed to repeat it. It's a very true statement. So I decided to make this video to show the correlation between what is happening today in Palestine, what happened with Lebensraum, which means living space, in Germany, Nazi Germany, and the American manifest destiny ideology. It all relates back to each other, and it begins and ends with the U.S. government. Let's talk about it. So in 1845, there was a slogan that was coined called Manifest Destiny. Now, in simple terms, what that just means is that colonizers, Euro-American colonizers, had the God-given right to steal the land of indigenous people and claim it as their own. Many Europeans were lured to the land of the U.S. with newspaper articles claiming there was free land. And this was a policy that was enacted by the U.S. government. First, they enacted a policy of mass murder against my people, the Native American tribal members. Then it was a policy of removal. At last, it was forced assimilation through the stealing of Native American children and placing them in Christian Indian residential schools. The last part was an effort to stomp out the last remnants of our culture, language, religion. The U.S. government just decided to continue on with what the British Empire had been doing for centuries, which was to subjugate indigenous people, colonize the lands, and then expand and strip the land of its resources. They just continued on with that same ideology. So how does that relate to Israel and what's happening in Palestine today? So if you actually look at the map, you can see how Israel has expanded its borders in a very short period of time. And they've done that by following the same Nazi and U.S. policies of expansion. The Nazi government, they used Lebensraum, which means living room. They had asserted that they needed more farming space, and they wanted their people to colonize Eastern Europe. They were going to use the same policies that the U.S. government used with the Native American people. First, subjugate the indigenous Slavs, Russians, and Russian Jews And after that, they would either eliminate them or put them on reservations, which is what the US government did to my people. What has Israel done? Look at the map again. Let's look at it. They have expanded quite rapidly, subjugated the indigenous Palestinian people, demonized them, calling them, animals, subhuman, uncivilized, which is exactly the same language that was used in the US and in Nazi Germany. Now, if you watch the news, they're telling all of them, oh, you have to leave, get out of the land that you're in, and then you'll be safe. This is just another trail of tears that is happening right under our noses. The Trail of Tears was when the U.S. government forcibly removed numerous tribes all at once on a death march. Sound familiar? Death march. Nazi Germany. How can the world, does the world not know history? It's just shocking to me that at least, historians and people of some knowledge are not aghast at what is going on, are not seeing history repeat itself again. I just don't understand. Land back. Free Palestine.